it's Arlesha. I'm a purpose-driven mover and shaker, harmonizing life and ambition. Welcome to my podcast. This season, I'm talking about the special stories, lessons, and insights from my 14-plus year run in the sports industry. Throughout each episode, you'll hear about the gems that drive my career approach and my outlook on life, in the hopes it'll inspire you to harmonize your life and career ambitions. Let's get into it. I have a question for you. Can you build a successful career without ever leaving your hometown? For many who embark in the sports and entertainment industry, a big city move is often an experience, and for many, even a requirement. It's to move from a small town or simply perhaps a low-impact city to a high-impact and a high-activity yielding market, such as a New York City or Los Angeles. This is the route of action for many that often begins with where one attends college. While this was the experience of most of my peers who hightailed it to markets such as New York City for internships, first jobs, and early career starts, this wasn't necessarily my experience. And I say this with all gratitude. While many peers moved to big cities, I chose to stay local in the Miami area and still managed to attract significant big market level opportunities. It's a privilege that I experience to this day, and I don't take it for granted. It's an experience that allowed me to be a local with high impact. This episode will cover how staying focused on a clear mission and purpose can open doors, regardless of geography. Guys, we are halfway through this season of the Hey, it's Arlesha podcast. I am Arlesha Amazon, a veteran sports marketing executive and a strategic partner to champion athletes and brands. I spent a majority of my career managing and marketing the off-court brand and business endeavors of elite NBA athletes such as Dwayne Wade, Udonis Haslem here in Miami, Florida, during a near-decade run at one of the world's most prestigious sports agencies, CAA Sports. And while at CAA, I also worked with and managed other emerging stars such as Kobe White of the Chicago Bulls, Jaren Jackson Jr. of the Memphis Grizzlies, and much more. And it doesn't stop there. I worked for four-time NBA champion Stephen Curry at his company, SC30 Inc., as Senior Director of Strategic Partnerships and Development. Whew, what a run. This podcast season has been a rewarding look back for me, and I hope you all have been able to gather the gems between the pages. I started this season off by giving an inside peek into my career scrapbook, a collection of a decade in the sports industry with some never-before-seen moments and stories shared. The link to that YouTube video is in the show description where you can see those special moments. As I went through the scrapbook myself, I realized some gems between the pages, which I am bringing to you in the form of this podcast season. And if you guys want more career gems, a quick reminder that you can follow along on LinkedIn as I share most of them there. The link to follow is in the show description. Also, I think I'm going to get into Threads. Are you all on there? If so, follow me there and I'll start to post gems as well. I'm going to try to figure out how I want to use Threads and if I want that to mimic Twitter at all. I'll keep you posted. But I thank you all for tuning in to the podcast. Okay, let's get back to the gems for this episode. So my experience in the sports industry is somewhat of a local hometown hero type of story. I'm born and raised in Miami, Florida, if you don't already know, and I did all of my schooling here. attending Florida International University. Shout out to the Panthers. And I received my degree in English literature and mass communications. Yes, I was studying Shakespeare, who I like to say was my first marketing teacher. I can get into this some more, but that would be a whole 10-minute spiel. It's a good story, though. Maybe I'll make it a future podcast episode. But I made the choice to build my career in my hometown of Miami, Florida. What initially motivated that decision was familial, providing my family with what I call presence support. And I did not mind that decision at all because Miami is not a bad place to be. I mean, it's not Idaho. Please, no offense to anyone from Idaho. Besides, I had my sights on eventually attending the University of Miami as a grad student, which some of you might not know this. I eventually wanted to pursue my master's degree in management or even law. Yes, at one point I did want to go to law school after obtaining my undergrad degree in the arts and communications. For those reasons, remaining in Miami was still impactful, but the move out of the city or state to go to college just was not my experience. There's a common assumption and typical belief that big opportunities only come to those who make big moves to major hubs. And while having this in the back of my mind without even realizing it, I challenged this norm. When I finally realized sports was what I aimed to pursue, I decided to pursue it with a different mindset, choosing to focus on impact and purpose over location. So very early in my career, I would say while I was in my early 20s, I identified my professional mission and purpose that would drive my career pursuits and work even after a decade in the game. My mission was rooted in the idea of driving innovative perspectives or working around innovative execution. I received this aha that my career strategy would be zoned in on identifying and being in the midst of innovation within the sports industry. Having a clear mission acted as a magnet for opportunities. Having that clarity was a catalyst. It also allowed me to zero in on developing an early career networking strategy, a strategy that would eventually help me gain visibility and credibility in my industry for years to come. And when it comes to a networking strategy, I zeroed in on a strategy that would center me in the places and rooms that would be athlete adjacent. That meant I was 20 years old, volunteering at athlete-founded charity events in the South Florida area, including attending athlete wife events, the whole nine. It was this strategy that allowed me to meet and network with Dwayne Wade's longtime manager at a charity event, a meeting that would ultimately serve as a pathway to a role on his team and a runway into the athlete side of the business in very elite fashion from the very start of my career. Remaining in my hometown of Miami came through. I can't say that this start to my career would have been my same experience if I were in Los Angeles attending the University of Southern California, which was one of my college options, by the way. Back in high school, I did have my sights on USC, thanks to Heisman Trophy winner Reggie Bush back in the day. What a time, what a time. But my early career strategy was a mindset shift. There was a mindset that I experienced when I prioritized purpose over moving to a big city. I knew that I wanted to pursue a career in sports in a unique, innovative way. Again, I was moved and impressed by the mission of innovation. I looked around and there weren't many opportunities in the Miami market outside of the traditional way of working in sports, which is working for your local sports team or a college. Not to mention, at the time, this was circa 2008, 2009, no one was really innovating or winning championships, except for the Miami Heat, who just a few years before, in 2006, won their first NBA championship led by this budding superstar, Dwayne Wade, and his sidekick, Shaquille O'Neal. But a few years after that championship run, the buzz was slowing down with the organization and the hype left the market. Although I was a huge D Wade fan, there was something about this guy from an individual athlete standpoint that kept me intrigued. I watched the moves he was making off the court, his partnership with Converse, which I did buy a pair of Converse sneakers during my freshman year of college too. They were too big and bulky for my feet. I'm not sure why I bought it. I also recalled back then his Pepperidge Farm commercials as well. He was becoming a big deal. Upon more research on the avenues in the sports industry, it dawned on me that there was this world where professionals can work with individual athletes on marketing activities. And that seemed to me to be where the true innovation was going. This idea of orchestrating the efforts around an individual. Fandom was becoming an economy. I was seeing it from a distance. The fandom around LeBron James in Cleveland, Tom Brady with the Patriots, even in the college space back in my day with Reggie Bush, although NIL was non-existent in those times. It just seemed like the athlete representation side of the business was where the innovation and the action would head next. I knew the traditional way of working in sports would be a springboard, but I was going to get this innovative player side under my belt. That was my strategy. And again, this mindset steered me in the right direction. As you saw in my career scrapbook video, I got the opportunity for an entry role on Dwayne Wade's management team in 2010, just before LeBron James and Chris Bosh took their talents to South Beach to join Wade in what would be a career catapulting move for Wade and for my career as well. I was at the brink of innovation in the sports industry in a market and city, Miami, Florida, that many would not necessarily describe as a true sports market back then. But with that big three free agency move overnight, Miami became a high-impact sports market. So while I didn't make a career move for a high-impact opportunity, the high-impact opportunity was birthed within my backyard at the right time and place. Many people may call this luck or manifestation or whatnot, but I truly believe there's an energy there when you have both faith, and for me, I prayed for my opportunities as a Christian, but it's also in being intentional with your mission. I knew to move towards innovation. Again, there's so many more layers to my career strategy, but I am going to ask that you continue to stick around and tune in as I go deeper on these experiences in later episodes. I truly believe that being purpose-driven allowed me to attract high-level opportunities locally, even with global entities. Not only was I working with Dwayne Wade at the point in his career in which he was becoming a global figure and cementing his future ticket to the Hall of Fame, I found a seat on the agency side of the representation business at CAA Sports, headquartered in Los Angeles with offices all over the world. I remained in Miami, Florida during my entire 9.5-year tenure at CAA, and while there, my career became more global as our clientele expanded their brands and business ventures in a myriad of ways. Geography never stifled my work or my reputation. Not to mention, I was also in Miami, Florida when receiving the phone call from Steph Curry's team to join the team and take a senior leadership role. Consistently aligning my work with purpose brought high-level opportunities my way. Geography was not a hindrance. Now, there were some moves I was supposed to make in markets, including New York City and San Francisco. But see, what happened was, let's just say that I am recording this podcast episode in Miami. I guess just maybe my permanent headquarters. We shall see. But here's the kicker. Miami has absolutely become a high-impact market. Since the start of my career, The Miami market has seen about 5 NBA Finals appearances, 2 NBA championships, has become an official annual F1 host city, is the new home of Lionel Messi of Inter Miami, and so forth and so forth. Funny how the tables turn. I am now in a high impact sports market. So, as we're wrapping up, I want to share a few practical tips for anyone who might be in a similar position, whether you're staying in your hometown or working in a place that may not feel like an industry hotspot. Here's how you can attract big opportunities by staying mission focused and purpose driven no matter where you are. Number 1, identify your purpose. The first step is to really take time to understand your mission and purpose. Ask yourself, what is it that truly drives you in your career? What's the impact you want to make? And what's the legacy you want to build? Defining this clearly will help you prioritize the opportunities that align with that purpose. And when you're focused on the right things, you'll be surprised how the right doors start to open. Number 2, focus on impact over location. This next one is huge. It's easy to feel like you're missing out if you're not working in a big city. But remember, meaningful work and impactful opportunities are not limited to big cities. Focus on the quality of the work that you're doing and the value you're bringing. Make it a goal to deliver such impactful results that people take notice, no matter where you're based. I know that there's nuances. This is different, right? Miami is different from Idaho. Miami is surely different from Kansas, right? But this mindset shift alone can help you approach your career with more confidence and excitement. Again, impact over location. Number 3, build a network of people who share your values and your purpose. This doesn't have to be limited to people in your local area. There are so many ways to connect digitally, whether it's through social media, virtual industry events, or online communities. When you build relationships with people who share your values, you're creating a network that's more likely to bring you aligned opportunities, even if you're not in the same physical location. A strong network can help bridge the gap and make your career feel more connected globally. All right, so to wrap things up, let's recap what we've covered. The main takeaway I hope you're getting from this episode is that being mission focused can truly attract powerful opportunities no matter where you're located. My journey taught me that purpose is bigger than any zip code. You don't have to move across the country or the world to make an impact. You just have to know your why and stay true to it. The opportunities would either come to you or you'll be led to them. Staying local taught me the power of clarity, the importance of authenticity, and how focusing on purpose can unlock growth that isn't limited by geography. So wherever you are in your career journey, I encourage you to explore what a purpose-driven path could look like for you. Stay grounded in your values, keep your mission front and center, and know that you don't have to change locations to change your impact. If this episode resonated with you, I'd love to hear about it. Feel free to connect with me on social media, on LinkedIn, and share your own personal experiences with building a career that's purpose-driven and maybe even a little unconventional. And if you know someone who's trying to figure out how to expand their career, or they're pondering whether or not to make a move, share this episode with them. Download and share this episode. I think it's an important reminder that success is not tied to one market or one path. Until next time, I am sincerely yours, Arlesha.